if you've been following my channel, you probably have noticed I have a lot of gear. I mean, especially microphones. Like right now, we're going to go through the paces of 6 different microphones. But in the process of talking about these 6, and I probably have about 25 altogether, people often ask me, why do you have so many? Why not just pick one? You know, you just pick one and get rid of the rest. And there is a reason why people like me have so many different microphones or so many different cameras or so many different everythings. So I had a little problem to solve, and I thought, well, in the process of solving that particular problem, maybe I'll talk about it as I also do some sort of microphone comparison. So stick around. This is going to be interesting. I've got the 6 microphones to talk about and a couple of unique things that you might find interesting. And it may explain why not only I have so much gear, but why you may need some of the same gear too. Okay, so right now I'm in my studio space, right? I have 6 microphones, and just to be clear about which the 6 microphones are, I have 2 dynamics and 4 condenser mics. The 2 dynamics I have are over here. I might as well go through them in motion. This is the Shure SM58, the Shure SM58. That, by the way, is one of the most popular microphones ever made. It's the one you see on on stage with just about anybody at a concert. Shure SM58. All right, to my left, you're right. This is the RODE NT1. Now, the RODE NT1 is a very quiet microphone, but in this room, not necessarily the mic you'd want to use. Let's go on to another dynamic. This one's a super cardioid. That one was a cardioid. This is a super cardioid. This is the Shure Super 55. So this is the Shure Super 55. You're hearing just that microphone right now. I'm isolating it. Okay. Next is one of my favorite mics. One of my 2 favorite mics. This is a Sennheiser MKH416. Now this is a shotgun mic, and it's pointing directly at me. I can move a little bit further than I probably could with some of the other mics because it's really a super cardioid pattern right at my face. And although this is a super cardioid, this one here is a little more sensitive and it's got a lot of power. We'll talk about that next. And then next to it is my all-time favorite microphone. This is my Neumann. This is a TLM103. This microphone here is a professional grade microphone. By the way, these both are. This is a $1,000 microphone, the Sennheiser. This is $1,300 with the way you see it here, the anniversary edition. Beautiful microphone. And there's something about it that we're going to talk about in just a minute. Just hang tight. Last microphone in my chain here is the Shure SM7B. That's the Shure SM7B. This one here is also a dynamic microphone. But at the moment, I've got it plugged in to get some to use the phantom power through a cloud lifter. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes too. All right, so now here let's talk about the reason for today's comparison. Why these particular microphones? Why outside the booth? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I have had these servers in this room for quite some time. When you're recording with a very sensitive microphone, let's say the RODE NT1, the Sennheiser, or the Neumann, they're very sensitive microphones. You put them in the booth, the soundproof whisper room recording booth, and they're super quiet. You hear almost nothing. And because of that, they can be more sensitive because they're meant to be used in a recording area that's sound treated. This room isn't. And that's the point. So at this moment, those 2 servers are going. And they've been on, or there have been at least some servers in this room for 20 years. I'm going to be removing those in there, but those servers from this room, so I could do a little more production outside the booth without having to worry about that nagging sound. But I wanted you to be able to hear the way certain microphones in this setting sound better, even though they're not necessarily the ones I'd use in my booth. Specifically, let's say this Shure SM7B or this SM58 or the Super 55. These are basically dynamic microphones with a range where you really pretty much have to be right on top of it. In fact, to draw attention to that fact, right now I'm going to switch over in post-production so you're hearing just the SM58. So right now you're hearing just the SM58. I probably sound really distant, right? Now here's the RODE NT1 by itself without me moving. RODE NT1, same distance. Here at similar distance is the Shure Super 55. Not moving, not doing anything, just talking at this distance. Switching over to the Sennheiser MKH416, same distance. Now the Neumann TLM103, same relative distance. And last but not least, Shure SM7B. Okay, now if you had headsets on, you would notice, first of all, there's huge differences in how much of my voice they were able to pick up. Clearly, the loudest one will probably be the Sennheiser, the MKH416. It's designed to be used from an angle on a pole, like in a movie. They use them shotgun style on a pole. They've always been that way. So it's got a lot of power. And the Neumann is going to also be somewhat powerful. And of course, they're meant to be for broadcasters and whatnot, and you get right on top of them. I mean, if I do that with a shotgun, which isn't really the way it was designed, but a lot of voiceover people will record commercials and other types of voiceover videos using an MKH416 the way I am, right on top of it. It gives you a little bit of a presence boost. And the RODE NT1 is also very sensitive, and I can get right on top of it as well. But here's the thing. If I wanted to do some sort of a product, whatever it is, a voiceover, a podcast, or whatever it is, I would not want to use these three microphones sitting where I am with those two servers going there and a bunch of other things that make noise. HVAC is in the next room, etc. But now, see how much of that room noise, if you just want to listen to it, just room noise by itself. I'm just going to point out the microphones and just listen to the room noise, not my voice. Okay, so let's just say real world application. I'm going to take out my SM58 and you can get really right on top of it. And the whole point is when you're using this type of microphone, I mean, singers will put their face right on them. My lips are touching the grill right now. That's how close I can get to it. You can do similar things to a Super 55. Elvis famously would cradle his in his arms while he sang. Women just fell all over him. So this is a up-close microphone as well. It was a slightly different, less modern version of it, but it's essentially the same premise. These are dynamic microphones. These other microphones are super sensitive. So in the interest of really showing, again, all these microphones, I have other videos where you can hear some of these microphones in my booth, and I'm going to keep doing more head-to-head comparisons with these mics, but I have about 25 other mics, so if you haven't already subscribed, you might want to jump in on that. Anyhow, I'm going to take a break in this video and probably film the rest of it maybe tomorrow or whatever, but I'm going to keep the recorder at the same settings, right? And they're pretty much all centered, and they're all kind of giving me similar volume levels. By the way, I should also point out the other gear in this. Oh, and by the way, the reason I'm saying that is I'm going to come back, remove the servers from the room, and then redo another comparison. So you'll hear the room. Now, there'll still be echo. This isn't a fully sound-treated room like my Whisper room, which has 4 inches of insulation in it. But there will be a better sound to these more sensitive mics, and they maybe could be useful outside the booth. Right now, I prefer using something that's like the Shure SM7B, which is a little beefy, but it does, as you may hear, is a kind of a catch-22. An SM7B or other dynamics, they have a little bit of a hiss in the background because they need a lot of power, but they're not picking up a lot of the computer sounds. And might as well bring up one other sound as long as we're talking about how much it can reject sound. I happen to have an echo in this room. Let me see if I can get it to do something. Alexa, play Baby Shark. Really? Isn't it great how those things just don't work when you want them to? Alexa, play Baby Shark. Not for me. Didn't even work. Okay, one more thing I'm going to do before I tear down that computer. I thought it would also be interesting to show in a very large scale what I mean about noise rejection and just how good some of them are and some are just not good at all. So in my ears, I'm hearing some music in the background, and you're probably hearing that too. At least I hope so. I'm certainly hearing it. Some of these microphones are rejecting that sound quite well, and others are absorbing it like a sponge. So without further ado, let's see which microphones are which. I'm going to switch in post-production to each microphone and show you how much of that background noise versus my voice each one of them is picking up. So the most sensitive ones I'm going to do first. This one here, this is the Neumann TLM103. It's probably picking up enormous amounts of that music, obviously, because it's one of the most sensitive mics I have. So this is the Neumann. Next to it is the Sennheiser MKH416. Now, at the moment, the Sennheiser is a shotgun, but it's also very sensitive. And it's kind of on the side, by the way, the sound. So let's jump from there to the RODE NT1. RODE NT1. How much of that music are you hearing on the RODE NT1? Okay, now we're going to go to the less sensitive microphones. Let's take this is the Shure SM7B. I'm in that loud room. Could you just imagine if I was, let's say, a radio DJ, and I'm in a bar and there's a lot of people talking around, maybe there's some music going. I'm trying to put on a radio show, for example. Would this microphone be better in that setting? This is the Shure SM7B with that music still playing in the background. Shure SM7B. Going to jump from there to the Shure Super 55. Super 55, also a dynamic. Jumping out of there, and I'm going to go to the least sensitive microphone I own. This is the Shure SM58. If I was on stage and the band was playing and the crowd was cheering, and of course they would be if I'm the one singing, right? And everybody's making noise. I'm in a bar, I'm wherever I am, and I have this microphone. Maybe I'm at a party, and you're the videographer and you're passing around a microphone. Do you want to hear that music playing, or do you want to hear the person who's telling you, hey, congratulations, couple, you're such a great, you're meant for each, this is the point. How much of that sound is the SM58 picking up? So here I am again, the SM58. Now, I hear them because right now, before I go in and separate the channels, I'm hearing all of them. But my guess is the one that's going to do best out here with that loud music is this baby here, the SM58. You have to be right on top of it. And just about anything that's far away is not as sensitive. I go out here and it's not very sensitive. I get up close, it is. So that music, how much of it is it picking up? So, without further ado, I'm going to jump out of here. In a day or two, I'm going to break out the computer, move it over, keep the mic set up just the way they are, and we're going to do another follow-up and see how it turns out. All right, so this is part 2. I'm in the same room. I've removed the 2 main servers. Now, once again, what the essence of this video is, different mics for different purposes. If one of the things you're trying to do is create a certain sound, you may prefer the sound of one mic over another mic. Maybe there's something about that sound that you're trying to reach, or something about this sound, or this sound, or this sound. Maybe you want that sound, or maybe it's this sound, or maybe it's this sound. Anyhow, the point is, that's only part of the equation. What sound are you trying to create, but what does your room sound like? Up until a few minutes ago, the quiet mics were the only mics really you'd want to use outside of my booth. The SM58 still sounds good, right? At least it's decent, and I can still get right on top of it. And it works. It's fine, right? But that background noise, it didn't hear it in the first place. So this probably sounds similar to what it sounded before. But the sensitive mics. The Neumann TLM103. What do you think about the TLM103 now? The room is quieter, so that's when you notice how quiet the mic itself is. You could say the same for the RODE NT1. The RODE NT1 is a very quiet mic, but it's also very sensitive. So before, it was picking up the sound of the room. Now, it can really show its colors. So let's go through all the mics and see what they sound like now that I've removed 2 computers from the room. Now, you may not have computers in the room, but look around. You might have fans, a refrigerator. Maybe you can't move the refrigerator, but you can move yourself to a room where there is no refrigerator, or you're not near the refrigerator. Move into a closet. Believe it or not, I've once recorded something. I actually recorded a TV commercial, my own, from my truck. I have a Ford. I was driving a Ford. It's like an Explorer. But the inside of a car is really great acoustics. So if you've got a great mic and you've got something quick you want to record, consider using your car or your truck. So let's go through all the mics now that the computers have been removed. By the way, did you hear that? Okay, so here we go. Let's start with the left on my left. This is the Shure SM58, which is meant to be used right up on top of it. I could literally put my mouth on it, and there's no plosive and popping going on. This thing was meant for you to just put it right in your face and scream at a crowd. It's also great at rejecting sounds, but it's not as important right now because right now I've removed the 2 loudest things in this room. By the way, those sounds have been in this room for over 20 years. I'm so glad to get rid of them. Let's go to the next mic in my chain. This is the RODE NT1, a super quiet microphone. I love the sound of the RODE. It's one of the quietest mics I have. In fact, I think based on just specifications alone, this is the quietest mic I have. And by the way, it's supported right now on a the PS, what do you call that thing? PS2... PS2 1A, 12A. Anyhow, that's the RODE stand. I'm gonna do a review of this at one point and contrast it with the blue. This is the blue. What do you call it? The Compass. Anyhow, this is the RODE NT1. This is what it sounds like, and now this is what it sounds like. And I should, I guess, do the same with the other one. The quiet of the room itself. How much of the room is it picking up? And again, let's do the SM58. Let's listen to the room itself. Okay, let's move on to the Shure Super 55. Again, it's a mic you can really get right on top of. Elvis held it like this. What do you think about the sound of the room, first of all, and the sound of my voice now that I've removed the computers? Let's listen to the room. Now, I can hear people walking around upstairs. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It might be coming from these other sensitive mics, but that's something to listen for, too. The sound of the silence for the Shure Super 55 right now. Moving on to the Sennheiser MKH416 shotgun mic. Listen to it now that you don't have the sound of those fans going on. What do you think about it? And what do you think about the sound of the room, the silence? Okay, 2 more mics left. This one here is the Neumann TLM103. TLM103 is one of the most sensitive mics I have. With those fans going, it was unbearable. Now that they're gone, what do you think of the sound? And what about the silence? By the way, I can hear my HVAC system. Can't turn that off. One last mic. The Shure SM7B. What do you think about the Shure SM7B now that I've gotten rid of the computers? Now, my own experience, the Shure SM7B has a bit of a hiss because it really needs a lot of gain and it taxes the daylights out of your audio interface. And by the way, I should mention the audio interface I'm using today is a Zoom H6. All 6 microphones are plugged into the Zoom H6. And in post-production, I'm going to switch back and forth between them. And the Zoom H6, by the way, I'm going to switch to one particular one so we don't jump around anymore. Let's go to the Neumann. The Zoom H6 has normally got 4 inputs, and it has a removable top part, which you could put 2 more inputs on. I'm going to do a separate review for that because it not only lets you have the 4 XLR inputs, but it has a whole bunch of other options, including an expansion. But the expansion has some limits, and we'll go over that too. That you can't put in you can only use a dynamic mic, for example. These are things we'll go over. There's a lot of gear I want to go over on my channel. I've got about 25 mics. I want to put a whole bunch of them head to head. Do some of the recordings out here, outside the booth, do some more back inside the booth. And so let's end this particular video right here. There's a lot more to cover, so let's leave that for another video. Oh, did I accidentally dial you? I'm sorry, I must have butt dialed you. What do you mean? Of course it was a mistake. It was an accident. It was an accident. I butt dialed you. Well, how do you know it wasn't an accident? Because it's coming from a rotary phone. Yeah, it is a rotary phone, but that doesn't mean anything. I could still butt dial you. Well, yeah, it takes a little longer, but it's still an accident. So how you been? Hello? This is going to be very complicated, very, very complicated. I made this more complicated than it needs to be. But what are you going to do? Okay, here's this is not going to be easy. All right, here I go. I'm going to start recording something, and then that's when the real fun starts, right? That's when the fun is about to start. Yeah, the fun is gonna start. Okay, everybody ready? Sound on, everything's on. Synchronized. Play Baby Shark. Really? I love technology. I'm a tech guy, but I just love when technology just doesn't want to do anything for you. Yeah, my Alexa is saying I don't give a crap. I'm not playing anything for it. So what I'm gonna do instead is the old-fashioned, I'll go to my music library on my phone, and let's do something here. Bear with me. A little shuffle. Is it going to play something? Must be an internet problem. I've got some Wi-Fi issues here lately. Really? Doesn't want to play for me, huh? Maybe I'll just edit this little part out where things aren't working, right? That's what you usually do, right? Not me. Not me. I'm in it for the long haul. Really. I think it's playing, but it's playing somewhere else. Isn't that what it's probably doing? Yeah, it's not playing. I have great luck with technology. That's the bottom line. Really.
A doctor messing with glands to keep
It's playing a book.
happy.
Okay. Let's try this again. I just love this. This is a very difficult video to make, and my gear doesn't work. Honestly, not going to play for me. It honestly doesn't want to play. Yep. Let me start this part over. So before I tear down the room, I thought it would also be fun
On
to...
a hot summer night,
Huh.
would you offer your throat to the wolf with the red rose? Yes.
All right, so we got something to play here.
Will you offer me us?
Yes.
Really? I'm just going to edit this part out, right? That's what I usually want to do with this sort of... Oh, there you go. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. To shuffle my music. Just not doing it, are you? Oh, you gotta love this. Really? It just doesn't want to do it, does it? It's insane how things just won't work when you need them to. It's just mind-blowing. That's what it is. Mind-blowing. That's it. It's just... All right, that'll have to do. Okay.
Been dazed and confused for so long, it's not true.
Really? It's not gonna play. Really?